Hey guys, today we got a good one for you. We're cold weather, where water temperatures are dropping. It won't be much longer up here in the north when the lakes freeze over. But for you guys down south, the fishing will still be good. We're going to talk about a technique that a lot of you guys know about. Some of you might not. Some of my favorite retrieves for this technique, as well as colors and different brands that I have to use it for. Okay guys, stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. Okay guys, let's get started. If you haven't picked up on it, it's no secret that the rattle trap is just an absolute deadly lure this time of the year. This being a super dot, I believe this is a Hedon super dot. It's chrome purple with a little chartreuse belly there. Some of the other ones I have, got the Strike King rattle trap. It's in the shad color. I have the Bill Lewis's rattle trap in the bluegill color. I also have Strike King Red Eye, excuse me, in bluegill color. The Storm Arashi in a ghost shad color. And then Bill Lewis in the perch color. Okay guys, that's the colors I have for the rattle traps. I have some fire crawls for in the spring. Basically, where would you use this? For guys that don't know, well, you're going to use them out on tapering points where there's deep water close by. Down south, you want to find that grass that's still growing, that you can bring it onto the edge and then snap it off the grass and create the reaction strike that way. Round stumps, up shallow round stump fields, hard bottoms where it's, maybe not necessarily rocky, but a solid bottom. Techniques you would use, well, the most common ones, the yo-yo, you cast it way out past your target, you let it go down to the bottom, hit the bottom. You're going to snap your rod up, holding your rod high, and let that go down on a semi-taut line, so it pendulums and wiggles down as it goes down. The other technique would be, you could do the straight retrieve, but in the wintertime, they're not typically looking for, they're not looking to chase, because the bait fish are going to become more lethargic, so they're just struggling to survive, so their movements will be real shallow, and their tail side to side will be real subtle. That's why the rattle trap is an excellent choice at this time when the water's down to 40 to 50 degrees and even colder. Another retrieve would be slow rolling, like if you had like you were Texas rigging, dragging across the bottom, hit something, pop it up off the bottom, try to create a reaction strike that way. And finally, but not least, another one would be acting like you got it stuck on weeds, where you really snap it up off the bottom and then you let it pendulum down and you really snap it up off, giving that a fast jolt and then letting it slowly go back down to the bottom. A couple things I want to talk about with the rattle traps are the Bill Lewis's have excellent hooks. They have that EWG style hook. See how it's curved in? The reason this is so good is the fact that those hooks being curved in help you get less snags, get less caught up in the weeds, versus if you and when you finally do get that subtle strike, because it's not going to be like in the summertime where they just hammer it. You're going to get a little subtle strike, and they might move a little bit, or they might hang out. They're lethargic. They're not really expanding a lot of energy because they're cold. But it helps keep them pinned once you have them. Where the straight or the outgoing hooks, you lose a lot more fish. Another thing I want to talk to you about is matching the hatch, guys. A good rule of thumb is mid-size. You're looking at 6 to 2 feet, 6 feet. You want to get a smaller, smaller rattle trap, and we'll say 8 to whatever feet, 20 feet if you want. You go a little bigger, but always match the forage in your lake. So if they're this size and they're eating on bluegills about this size, mid-size rattle trap will work well. If they're eating on smaller bait fish like little thread fins or gizzard shads, go with the smaller ones. Obviously, if they have big gizzard shads or something that they're feeding on, you'd want to go with a larger one. More key is though is if you're out shallow, you don't want to be throwing a big bait or a mid-sized bait out shallow because you're going to drag bottom. You want that smaller bait to keep it easier, keep you just off the bottom and going. Okay, guys, a couple things I want to bring to your attention too. With that being said, while you're out there, you might know that rattle trap bite could be good and then it just dies off. This happens a lot when you crappie fish, if you guys crappie fish. And it's a lot of times it's not the lure as much as it's the subtleties that you can change about the lure. What do I mean by this? This could mean the size of the lure. This could mean the action of the lure. Some are going to have a real tight wobble as they're going down. They're real tight. Others are going to have a little bit wider wobble. You got to figure out what the fish want. Another subtlety would be the color. Maybe one day they want the bluegill color like this, and this can change within an hour. And then they might want a perch color like this one. So keep that in mind, or even a ghost shad color like this one. You just got to keep switching it out, find the colors that they want at that particular moment. But the reason the rattle trap, in my opinion, is so great is because you can cover a lot of water at all depths and find them aggressive fish. And it mimics the bait fish, like I said, to a T. That real subtle wobble and a little rattle to set them apart. It helps you get those fish to bite when they're not going to bite. Because this time of the year, when the water's getting cold, when you find them, you're going to find a big school, so you can hammer on them for a little while. And last but not least, the last subtlety I want to talk about is the rattles. You hear that? That was the Bill Lewis rattle, where then the Storm Hirashi has more of that one knocker. So you got the Bill Lewis, and then you got the Storm Hirashi sound. Excuse me. And then you got the red eye. So there's a subtle difference in the way these lures sound. And then you got the Super Dot, which also has its own unique sound. If I can get it untangled here. The Super Dot also has its own unique sound. It's a little lighter. So with that in mind, guys, you want to kind of have an idea of what they want. Have several different brands, several different colors. Always staying with natural bait colors would be a good idea. But the sizes, the colors, and then one knocker to the double knocker to just the Bill Lewis's rattles. Because a lot of times it's going to be just that noise. When you're up shallow, you don't want a lot of noise. You want maybe a Bill Lewis's lure where it's more subtle. When you're a little deeper, you want that one knocker, that double knocker that gives a little bit more noise. Okay, gear. You would want to run, I don't know, a lot of guys like braided line. They don't use them a lot in clear water, so you could run braid, round cover, which would be like, 20-pound braid on a good crankbait rod with a 7-to-3-to-1 gear ratio reel. Me personally, I'd probably run fluorocarbon, braid to fluorocarbon. Depending on if I'm around heavy cover, I might go straight braid. But if I'm, around grass or something, maybe go with a heavier fluorocarbon, 17-pound fluorocarbon to a 17 or 15-pound braid, um, and just have a good parabolic bending crankbait rod. Um, and that's basically it, guys. That's all I got for you for rattle traps. So hey, if you liked the video, please hit the subscribe button, get the like, thumbs up. If you have any questions or any comments that you'd like to leave, maybe you have other tricks that you do with a rattle trap. Again, I'm not an expert on the rattle trap. I know enough to get by, but if you have anything you'd like to share with us, please leave them down in the comments below. Like I always say, I love to hear from you guys. We all can learn from each other. And if you haven't never tried it, there you go. They're semi inexpensive, depending on Bill Lewis's are what, $6-7, but they're a great lure to work year round. But the best times is in the fall, late fall, winter. Well, best times would be late fall and spring, but they'll work through the late fall all the way into springtime. So again, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It helps out the channel. And as always, if you got something you'd like to add or just a question, please leave a comment down below. Love to hear from you guys. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.